Yo guys, welcome back to another video of ZGN Talks. And real quick, today is one of the more important videos. We will be talking about businesses that are doomed in 2020. Now, you could go ahead and click off, go watch a cat video, waste your time, or you can actually listen and benefit off of the value that we have to provide to you. And if you do, we hope you enjoy the video.
As Mitch touched on, we're going to be today, and based off the title, we're going to be touching on today some businesses that are going to be dying and that are doomed in 2020 and beyond, and some businesses that are really going to be thriving. You know, we see a lot of different economical change the last couple of years, you know, with the growth of the phone, apps, delivery, stuff like that. I think there's a lot of industries and a lot of businesses that are, quite frankly, going to die off, and a lot of industries and businesses that are going to see a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity.
Now, starting off a bit on a more broader perspective on the whole marketing versus quality of a product type debate. And, you know, over the past few years, and this is on any social media, whether you guys are watching on YouTube right now, whenever you're on Instagram, Facebook, if you have an account on those platforms, I'm sure whenever you're scrolling, you get hit with advertisements. And, you know, sometimes it's an advertisement that is, get this for free, or it's some sort of webinar and it's a quote unquote free training. At the end of the webinar, it's some sort of upsell, and say, for example, oh, fill this out, it's free training. You fill it out, all of a sudden this live, quote unquote live training is starting in the next 5 minutes. What a coincidence, right? You go through, you get upsold, and you get the product, and it's not what you were expecting. And over the past few years, that type of marketing, scarcity-based tactics would work. But right now, the consumers are really starting to realize how important it is that the quality of a product is good, rather than constantly falling for the marketing behind of what that company is doing.
Yeah, so this is really prevalent in the whole online marketing, online money space. I think it's a really good analogy for how things are going as a whole. You know, it's becoming less about the marketing, more about the quality of a product nowadays. And this goes, or a service, this pretty much goes for everything. You know, we see a lot of products that are really well marketed, but once you get them, they're really bad. And I think as time goes on, we're starting to see that trend really die out, and we're shifting more towards sustainable long-term businesses that do provide a great product or service. And, you know, I think all the big businesses today, like Apple, Amazon, they've proven that, you know, marketing can take you far, but these companies, and like Tesla too, this Tesla, perfect example of this.
I was thinking of that.
Almost zero marketing, but great product service that speaks for itself. And, you know, I think they're really going to kill off all these businesses that's entire business plan is just, you know, great marketing. I think most of these companies are just going to end up dying off over the next couple of years.
That's actually something that I wanted to segue into, Tesla versus Uber, and we discussed that a lot.
Yep. A lot of people don't know about it.
Exactly, we discussed that a lot. And Uber, they're currently not profitable. They're
running a deficit. I think they've been profitable maybe one quarter in the past couple of years. So they've been getting pumped full of VC money and IPO money.
Yep. And they're just trying to create market share at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, they offer me a great service.
I use them a lot.
I've been using them a lot over the past few years because I'm lazy and we live in San Francisco. It's pointless to get a car.
Yep.
Muni could be convenient, but it's super time consuming. And now we're able to get Uber. Now, a lot of the time I log in, they give me 20% off, 30% off, get a pool regular, and costs me anywhere from $5 to $10, which is a great price. But seeing what Tesla is currently doing to the whole market and the type of products that they're creating, it's not looking too good for Uber.
Yeah, so I have an article on this coming out probably in a couple of weeks from now, probably on LinkedIn. It's pretty much almost done, final revisions, all that stuff. But essentially, for those who don't know, Tesla, with the cars out in the market right now, are developing AI. So all the cars you see out that are Teslas, they upload all their self-driving data into a neural network. And pretty much what that's going towards is developing AI for all their cars. And after a little bit of time, it re-downloads onto the cars that are currently on the road, and they get better and better. And that's how their self-driving technology improves. Now, most people don't know is all these Teslas they have out on the road and their Teslas in the future is they basically plan, and they've said this publicly, Elon Musk says it, they basically plan to take these cars and use their self-driving technology with regulation approval to basically have an app that competes with Uber. But the difference between Uber and Tesla is Tesla doesn't need drivers. So they've actually said explicitly that their rides are going to be cheaper than Uber's because they don't have to pay a driver for self-driving technology. And the idea behind it is current Tesla owners can rent their cars out to the fleet, as they call it, to basically go out and, you know, make the money and drive people around. Or Tesla themselves said if there's not enough demand, there's not enough cars out there, they'll put their own cars out there and basically drive people around. And I really think this is going to kill off Uber because right now Uber is just more of a platform between the driver and passenger. And I think when you take away the driver out of the equation, you're able to have that service much, much, much cheaper. And this is honestly going to lead to the downfall of Uber. They haven't been profitable, and I think this is really just going to kill them. I think Tesla says the technology is coming out in the next couple of years, but as time goes on, you're going to see Uber probably burn through even more cash, and Tesla really emerge as the marketplace, basically owning the marketplace.
Now, in case you guys didn't hear that correctly, this means that if you own a Tesla, come that time, you'll be able to take your car and pretty much while you're going to sleep, your car will be driving around the city, picking people up, taking them to different locations. Now, a lot of safety questions do arise.
Yep.
And I'm sure Tesla, with any business, in Uber, there are kidnappings. Stuff does happen. That's with any business, any ride sharing app. Problems will happen with people. But if you own a Tesla, you could own multiple Teslas. Not only does Tesla solve a big problem, they'll be able to create vehicles that are much safer than having a human at the wheel. And, that also eliminates the risk of human-to-human problems with the driver. But aside from that, it also creates a lot of business opportunities and chances to create income if you yourself own a Tesla.
Yeah, Sitch and I were actually talking about this. We're going to give you guys a little bit of insight. We were debating whether or not, once this technology comes out, whether or not to buy like a fleet of Teslas, have them run out 24/7. I think they said that you should be able to pay back, I think, a third of the car per year. So that's a 33% return.
You save money on gas.
Yeah, you save money on gas.
It's a great deal. They give really good financing options.
Yep.
It's overall a win-win. So why not own 10 Teslas and while you're going to sleep, just having them literally work for you?
Yeah, and they've said the return should be around 30% a year, I believe. So, hey, 3 years you break even. That's pretty good business in my opinion. So don't do that, guys. Leave the profit to us. But, going on, I think that's kind of summarizes that space up. I think Tesla's just going to end up killing Uber. And, we're really shifting over to where people just really, really like convenience more than anything. No one really like talking about the ancient business of taxis. No one would have seen it like 20 years ago. All these taxi businesses go out of business because of, the convenience of just tapping on your phone, having a great experience.
Yeah. Also, aside from the fact that not only is Uber much more convenient, but it's way cheaper. Way cheaper. Comes way faster. It's way cheaper overall. Now, I also wanted to dive in, going off of the whole convenience for the consumer. Amazon is a great example of that. So I remember a few weeks ago, we were at Westfield.
Sizing these babies.
We were at the mall. Exactly. And you've been to one of their grocery stores before, but I haven't. That was actually my first time there. I literally went on my app, filled out some sort of application on my account, and then I was able to scan, walk straight in, pick out what I want, walk out. I don't need to wait in line. I don't need to go through a whole checkout process where I have to put in my card, scan the item, just pick up what I need, walk out. That's it.
And it was really spooky too. Sorry to cut you off, by the way.
No, it's cool.
But it was really spooky too because there's like pretty much nobody there. There's one guy doing maintenance occasionally, but like he wasn't really there. It was just you walked into the store, you scan your phone, walk to the store, you take off whatever you want out of the shelf, and you just walk out. And the way it works is there's a ton of cameras around the entire store, and it tracks you. Cameras. It's so weird, but like it's like you can't really see them honestly. Like they're way above where you are.
It's almost as if they know what you're thinking.
Exactly, spooky.
And something I found super interesting is I thought that in order to walk into the store, each person needs to have the app on their phone, scan it, walk in. But we were also able to do it in a way where, for example, it was just you scanning your phone. You'd walk in and I would just walk in with you.
It'd charge both of us. Whatever.
Exactly.
It'd charge me based off what you picked up.
So that's, guys, don't do this. Don't just follow someone into the store. Don't do that to people. But I just thought that was super interesting how it tracks. Because, yes, we were walking, literally cameras everywhere. There wasn't like an inch of space without one. And you're just looking, you're like,
but hey, it's what you pay for. The products are cheaper because there's nobody there, and it's just way more convenient. You don't have to wait in line and that stuff. You go in, grab what you want, walk out. That's it.
How long do you think it's going to take before the majority of grocery stores in the world begin adapting this type of technology?
We already have self-checkouts. I think we're already halfway there.
But that's just not convenient enough.
Yeah.
Humans are lazy.
They are lazy. So I really think that Amazon's going to be the one pioneering this because most people don't know this. Most grocery stores, I think they make a 1% to 3% margin. That's what the grocery store gets to keep after they pay everybody. So people understand grocery stores don't have a lot of actual working capital to put into, reinvestment and actually innovation in the grocery market space. As you guys may have noticed, grocery markets have pretty much been the same for a very, very long time. This Amazon thing that we're talking about, this is like the only innovation I can think of in the past couple of years besides self-checkout. And, I think it's going to have to be from an outside company that has to honestly come in and innovate the space. I think you definitely see someone that actually owns the distribution chain, like a Kroger come in. But they do own a couple supermarkets. But I think if you see them team up with like a couple other brands to make a supermarket where there's no people, I think that could compete with Amazon. For the most part, I don't see that type of collaboration happening. And I think Amazon's actually going to start taking over the space. And as we saw, those prices were were actually really damn cheap compared to the
They were-
Walgreens like across the way.
There was actually a cupcake that I bought.
Oh, yeah?
And
That
they have
thing
the
is
same exact
good.
cupcake. It was a red velvet cupcake. I love red velvet cupcakes, and it was actually $1.50 cheaper inside the Amazon store than
Yep.
it was at Safeway. And also, say for example, Safeway chooses to go ahead and start adapting this, they will not be able to compete with
I don't
Amazon.
think they will either.
It won't even come close. And again, that just comes from Amazon being able to come into markets and just fully take them over. Even if they're losing money on it, they're wiping out their competition completely.
Exactly. And I think they're honestly in a great position because a lot of these retail spaces and these malls are going out of business because, they're putting them out of business. And what they're doing is they're buying these properties and these locations at a discount, putting in their, their stores where there's nobody there and just the cameras, and they're just taking out the competition that way.
And it also won't surprise me if at one point, through economies of scale, they're able to make these types of ventures profitable because they don't need to pay for any employees. And having to pay for, people walking through aisles, helping customers, doing the whole checkout process, that takes up a big chunk of expenses. While when we went to the Amazon store, there was only one worker literally
Just
standing
explaining
outside,
how things
just
go.
monitoring. Exactly. He wasn't doing it. There actually wasn't anyone inside of the store.
Yep.
Only outside of the
His
store.
only job was to tell you, oh, this is how it works. This is how you scan in, because we didn't know. So we had to talk to him, kind of explain it. But besides that guy, when people actually understand how it all works, there's not going to be a single person in there that's, part of Amazon or be just watch of the store. And I don't know if this is a thing or not, but I really think they're gonna have like restocking robots and automated restocking process in the next couple of years too, if this venture really takes off for them.
You think that we'll be walking through aisles and there will be like robots just stockpiling?
I mean, I
different
hope
types of
so. It
products?
seems like our grocery would be cheaper. So hey, I welcome that innovation.
Dude, something that these stores need to figure out is whenever I can't find something, I need to find an employee.
Oh,
They
they do need to
ask
solve
them.
that.
They need to solve that to where there's, I don't know, maybe some sort of device plugged into the wall on each aisle, and I just type in what I want,
That's
and
smart.
it does like a 3D model of where that thing is located, how many in stock.
Or they can incorporate Alexa into it, and you can be like, "Hey Alexa, where's this?" And it would just tell you in the store. That'd be really smart.
That's a great segue into the
The
voice
space,
devices.
yeah.
And we actually got our first.
Yep.
We did not get the Alexa. We got the Google Home.
Well, I have the
shout out
Alexa
Spotify.
Buds. Yeah,
You got
shout out
it for
Spotify.
free.
We love you. Free,
got it for free.
Google Homes. I had you sign up, and then
Exactly.
pretty much got that.
I was
free.
actually too cheap to pay $4.99 for the Spotify Premium, the student version.
Yep.
But I believe the Google Home was worth it. Honestly, I don't use it every single day. The
Mhm.
first week that I did get it, there was a very interesting feature. So I'd use it pretty much to listen to music, read me the news in the morning. There was an interesting feature that you brought up to me, how when you're going to sleep and you say Google Home good night, it starts playing sounds. You can set an alarm through it, which I honestly didn't know. It could put you to sleep. I still wouldn't say it's fully as advanced as the Alexa, but we're starting to move towards an age where the businesses that really thrive will need to integrate some sort of voice into their, say, marketing tactics.
100% agree. I think it's really Google versus Amazon right now. I don't really see any other major players in the space. And it's really surprising because Apple had this huge advantage with years prior coming out with Siri, but it seems they kind of invented that technology and just forgot about it, quite frankly. Like Siri can do nothing like Google Home or like Alexa. And I think these two companies, Google and Amazon, are going to have a huge clash for voice technology. I personally own the Echo Buds, which are the the earphones. I love them. I can ask them.
AirPods. Get AirPods.
I'm an Echo Buds kind of guy. He's an AirPods guy.
Dude, but AirPod Pros came out.
Oh yeah,
And I've tried yours on. I've tried AirPod Pros on. And
well, the AirPod Pros are also triple the price.
How much were you? Yeah,
I got mine for like
They are triple the
$85.
price, but first off, they're way comfier. They have way better noise cancellation, and they
I gotta
pretty
try
much
them.
similar enough features, and it's also Apple.
Maybe
It's
I'll switch.
Apple.
Maybe I'll switch over. You never know.
People
I gotta
pay for
try
the
them out.
brand.
But so I have the Google Home device. I also have the Alexa Pods. I like Alexa Buds. I think they're really cool to see how this technology is going to really shape things up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, because currently, in case you guys didn't know how these work, so for example, with his pods, he wants, say Emiliano, say you want to order an Uber, he doesn't need to go on his phone to order the Uber. He can literally talk into it. I'm sure you've done it before.
Yeah, I have.
How
I'd be like,
exactly
hey
does
Alexa, give me an Uber. It's like, okay, dope. You just ask you where.
You mean the pods, not Alexa?
Nah, you still say hey Alexa. It's
Oh,
the
same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
But they're called Echo Buds, and they're like, hey Alexa, I need this, this, and this. People that follow me on social media will know I love them. I post about them all the time. But like, I literally ask it to order me Uber. I can play games with it. I can ask it. Well, I can't ask.
What kind of games do you play with it?
Dude, you'd be surprised. I'm a little bit of a nerd.
If you're like on the bus playing games with it, people are.
I think I'm talking to myself. But I've been in Uber to like is looking at me kind of
Like,
weird.
what are you?
But
Yeah.
no, I'm a nerd. So if those don't know, I play like financial games. So I just do like some funny stuff. Like I play like this. There's one app called Angel Investor, and you get like pitches from people with like company ideas. And you're like, oh, do you want to invest? And it's like yes, no, negotiate. And then it kind of and there's a ranking portfolio online. I'm up in the leaderboard. Um, but pretty much what you do is you pretty much tell Alexa if you want to invest the company or not, and then it will and then they'll get back to you whether or not you want to reinvest or the venture goes bad. And pretty much off that, there's a leaderboard based off who is the best investing strategies, and I'm on that. So
Are these
we
are
win it,
these
baby.
games integrated only with the Alexa, or could they also be integrated with, say, the Apple AirPods?
I mean, I don't think Apple has a platform that allows them to be integrated, but
Okay.
I think Google has a way to do it, but they have nowhere as many near apps as Alexa. The thing with Alexa is, as a developer, you can also submit games, which I don't think is really as easy to do on Google or Apple. I think if they were to make a platform where they allow developers to have a heavy incentive to develop technology for them, I really think that Google would be able to challenge Amazon right now. But
I agree.
the current moment in time, I think Alexa is destroying Google.
Also, just further proving how powerful voice is. VR is also a big thing, but
Yeah,
when people are coming home, they're not constantly using VR. They're
Yep.
constantly using voice. And whether, people are say, for example, you're a parent, you have multiple kids, you're starting to install these devices in multiple rooms because you're also able to start communicating with your kids while you're in another part of the house,
Yep.
per se.
The voice. So there's a lot of things with voice. You can also like your speakers basically talk shit. You put them on guard mode, stuff like that. You can use your speakers to basically talk to people in other rooms, or if you're out of the house, you can use your speaker to talk to people back at home.
Yeah. So I'd say that businesses that don't learn how to efficiently integrate voice into their systems in the next, 3 to 5 years,
Mhm.
they're going to be losing, because there will be businesses, say, for example, you want to order pizza from
You can
some
do that
sort
now.
of restaurant.
You can do that now.
Exactly. You can just go and implement it and it'll work.
Domino's sponsor me. I love you. All right, continue.
Papa John's gave you a horrible experience, though.
Yeah, Papa John's don't sponsor me. I don't like you.
Yeah.
All right.
So, because again, Tesla's gonna pretty much get rid of drivers. We'll be able to get in. Humans are just getting lazier and lazier. And what do you know? At one point we're gonna get tired of going on our phones, pressing certain buttons, reading it, because we're just gonna get lazier. We want to be able to just be like, "Hey, do this, it'll happen. Hey, do this, it'll happen," and
Yep.
kind of dictate what we want going on.
And then
with our
after
lives.
this trend, I don't want to talk about this that much because it's too futuristic. But after this, after voice, I think we're going to go into like technologies like Elon Musk Neuralink, where you think about something and will
Yep.
automatically do it for you.
Exactly.
But I think so. Getting back to what we're talking about talking, I think it really comes down to convenience, and I think that's a huge part of where things are going. It need to be convenient and be a great product. I think marketing's kind of going down the drain as things go on, because you don't get repeat customers unless you have a good product. So I really think that's where things are heading, and I think people are just really not going to go out too much unless it's for an experience. And yeah,
Because don't get me wrong, marketing is still super important, but it depends obviously how you market. If no one knows about you, no one's going to want to buy from you. No one's going to want to do business with you. And being marketing is pretty much how you get your idea, your name, what you're offering out to the market. Now, there are ethical ways of doing it and unethical ways. And I think the best marketing, obviously the businesses that do the best do the least marketing. For example, Tesla, they didn't really pay any money
Zero.
for marketing. Big fat zero. You see, when you go on Amazon, you see certain products being marketed. So I see, for example, if I'm on YouTube, I get hit by Amazon from certain ads, but not by Amazon itself. And it's because people are running, Google ads, PPC ads through the Amazon marketplace. But the best businesses, they pretty much speak for themselves. And also word of mouth is a big thing. For example, Dropbox, they don't really do that much more, but a lot of people use it because it's super convenient. And whenever, for example, we're working with our content team, Dropbox is always our go-to as an intermediary.
And we switched over recently too. We didn't even know what Dropbox was until really, really recently. And we just Googled it and we're like, this product is cool. And I think we're honestly going to stay on Dropbox.
I've heard of it.
I've heard
and
it,
I
but
knew
never
what
knew
it was. I never knew exactly what it was. And until we
Same.
started building our content team and working with them, it's a big app that they use within their community, because you want them to work on something, you upload it, they go there. Because if you're going through email, there's only so much that you can email when it comes to long video files. On Dropbox, you can upload anything. On top of that, you get a 30-day free trial. And everyone loves free trial.
Everyone loves free.
We ended up paying afterwards.
Yeah.
But it was a good 30 days free.
Yeah, but I think going back to I want to backtrack a little bit, talk about restaurants and how that's going to be shaped
Okay.
up over the next couple of years. But so we see all these different retail locations closing, and I think there's going to be a big shift in restaurants and retail locations over the next couple of years. Everyone loves talking about retail, and people have been talking about that, but I think the next wave of businesses that are going to end up closing is restaurants, which most people don't know is there's a lot of apps like Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash. I think Grubhub does something like that too. But basically what all these companies do is they deliver food from different restaurants. Most people don't realize is a lot of the restaurants on these platforms are actually cloud kitchens. And for those guys that don't know what cloud kitchens are, pretty lucrative business model based off what I've heard, but pretty much all it is a business owner or a chef will rent out an entire kitchen, and they'll place a little team of chefs or a chef in that kitchen, and they'll have a menu of what they can cook, and they'll put it on a site like Grubhub or DoorDash or Uber Eats. And whenever people order it, they make it and they just send it out. So it's literally just a chef in an industrial kitchen. And the thing about this is the overhead is extremely, extremely, extremely low. They don't own the kitchen. They rent their time there. They obviously only pay pretty much for the ingredients in the kitchen. And what this leads to is them being able to undercut restaurants on price on the apps. And essentially, I think what this is going to lead to is a lot of people are going to end up switching over the next couple of years to just ordering in food. And the only reason people are going to end up going out for food is if a restaurant provides you a great experience. Like if it's Valentine's Day, you're going to want to go out, eat somewhere nice. But I think where we're heading is a lot of the restaurants like sub shops or stuff like that, where it's just the whole point of the business model is to get quick food and eat well. I think that's going to switch over to being actually fully delivered.
This is a really great example of why Airbnb does well. In
Yep.
companies in the past, such as WeWork, before their downfall, it was a similar
Yep.
concept. But let's take Airbnb, for example. Whenever we travel, we no longer stay in hotels.
Never.
People are able to literally buy homes, put them on Airbnb, and voila. For the traveler, that solves a big problem. They're able to stay at a house in their ideal location with a great view, great service.
Yep.
We've never really had a bad Airbnb experience. In fact, we have a better experience in
We had one,
Airbnbs than we do in
besides that.
hotels. Yeah, but we got comp.
We got comp for that one.
We got comp for that
we're
one.
chilling.
And then, so yeah, Airbnb.com. That's what a lot of the people that I know also do. A lot of the people staying at hotels are usually the more older generation.
Yep.
And over time, it's fully transitioning out of that. People really like the renting business model, especially now, those between the ages of 20 and 35. Not many people are buying houses anymore because they like to be on the move. So it's similar, say, you want to rent a house, you're not really forced to stay in it for a certain period of time. You're able to travel. Lots of people literally just live from Airbnb
Yep.
to Airbnb, and that kind of segues into the whole restaurant concept. How now, because restaurants, it's super hard to get profitable.
Yep.
The
Too much
margins,
overhead.
so much overhead. You need to pay employees. Food has really low margins, and it's hard to become profitable, especially when you're constantly having to pay rent in cities like LA, San Francisco, New York.
Mhm.
And what this allows companies to do, or even people, for example, you really like cooking.
I love
You don't
cooking.
necessarily need to open up a whole restaurant. You're able to go rent out a space
Mhm.
for like a short period of time, offer what you have, sell it, make an income off of it, and kind of keep that rotation
Yep.
going.
And I have this great story about this guy from college who actually he took advantage of this before it actually became mainstream, but he used to do it so you could text him, order wings, and he'd deliver it to you.
Oh, you told me about
Yeah,
this.
that guy's a beast. I forget his name. It begins with an M, but he was a great guy, very funny. He's an actor. This how I basically paid for his college. But pretty much what you do, you go on the app on his tab and be like, oh, this is what we're doing. And you put flyers all around campus. You Snapchat and be like, hey, this is what I want. You'd be like, all right, shoot me a Cash App. Shoot Cash App. You'd be like, all right, what's your address? Okay, we're going to deliver it to you.
So yeah, from the whole transition of the rent into the whole rent and gig economy, a great example is how we've been implementing that within our businesses. So, you and I can't do everything. For example, there are skills that we're not good at, and we want to hire people or have other people do those or satisfy those skills for us. We no longer need to hire someone and consistently pay them. We no longer have to give away equity. We could simply just go on Upwork, go on Fiverr, say we need a website designer or someone to fix some sort of code within something. We're able to pay a one-time or hourly fee until they finish that, and then we're no longer stuck to having to pay them at all.
Yeah, I think like you said, you slipped the word rent in there. I think that's a very accurate portrayal. I think it's not just the gig economy that people seem to be talking about. It's also, the rent economy that's really coming up to speed with everything. People no longer just want to own; they just simply want to rent. It's just easier peace of mind.
Because literally whenever we were in LA or even sometimes walking around here in San Francisco, those scooters that you
Like
see.
Bird, yeah, they're
like
everywhere.
Bird,
Dude. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Lime, you're able to go on the app, rent them. We no longer have to buy scooters that we own. Because personally, if I bought a scooter, I know for a fact I wouldn't use it that often, but because I bought it, I would feel forced to use it. But because I wouldn't use it that often, I'd feel somewhat guilty. Well, now I could pay a few cents to get from point A to point B within a short period of time using them instead of having to own it.
Yeah, there's that little thing where it's really annoying to ride on the road, but sometimes don't want to encourage myself. Sometimes you gotta not follow that. I'm not trying to get hit by any reckless drivers.
I mean,
But yeah,
I mean, actually, if you're riding the scooter, you would obviously prefer to be on the sidewalk.
so I don't get floored by a
But
car.
if you're the pedestrian, no chance do you want to
Dude,
see someone running
it's
at you.
either I'm good. It's like, look at this way. I'd rather, like, I don't want to incriminate myself, like I said, but like I'd rather be riding on the sidewalk, hit somebody, they get slammed and killed by it. You're not getting killed by a scooter. You're gonna get killed by a car. Quite simply, dude.
I'm sure a good amount would agree with you on
Yeah,
that.
I think so. Yeah. Scooters on sidewalks, 2020.
And it's also similar with, say, real estate.
Yep.
Say, for example, you buy a house.
Mhm.
Now, you buy the house, you're living in it. It's viewed much more as a liability because you now own it. Something can happen to the market. Now, you could always say something will happen to the market, but it's a big expense now. You own it. You're not able to just get up and leave and move somewhere. Now, it's much different if you buy a house for investment purposes. You buy, you rent it out, you have cash flow coming in. That's much different. But many people are now going ahead and renting houses because, say, you want to be on the move a lot, you want to go travel. What's the whole point of owning a house if you're constantly traveling? It makes much more sense to rent and not have that whole liability of expenses coming at you.
Yeah, I think companies are starting to catch on to this too, like we touched on earlier. WeWork and all that, meteoric rise going straight up. Have a lot of people jumped on that trend, but I think it's seeping into the whole business trend. I think a lot of businesses are starting to realize, like, hey, we can just run a lot of our stuff and cut down fixed costs. And I think we're really going to start to see the gig and the rent economy seep slowly but surely into business, and see that rise in the next couple of years. And I think kind of what we were talking on earlier, just kind of tie this all up. I think the way you can really grow in the next couple of years, you can't really look back on the last 10 years and look at it that way and make decisions off that. I think you now have to start looking at the next 10 to 20 years and start thinking, hey, where's everything going? How can I help people? And I think that's one of the reasons for Amazon, Tesla's success. I think those are arguably some of the most successful companies nowadays. I think the reason for that is because they're not thinking in the past, thinking, how can I change the future? And, how can I make people's lives easier?
And, new people, more and more people each year are starting their own businesses and they're not getting any results. They're wondering, why isn't anyone buying from me? I'm solving this problem. And ego definitely does come into play because you in your head, you're like, this is a great idea. This is a great
This is
business.
what people need.
No, the
Yeah.
market always decides what
Yep.
you're worth, period. You're worthless.
Exactly.
The market decides everything. And people are implementing stuff that worked maybe in 2015, 2016, even 2017, instead of thinking what works now, what's going to work 5, 10, 15 years from now, and not really being able to see how everything is changing and how the consumer demand is changing. You can't expect your business to make any money.
I agree. I think people need to stop thinking about what people in the past and now want, and start thinking about what people now, what people in the future are going to end up wanting.
Correct. It's becoming much less about marketing, making yourself sound all great, but actually delivering a good service, having a product filled with quality, and just fulfilling and solving the problem of the people buying from you. Because even though you're a business owner, you're working for the customers.
At the end of the day, it's all it is. You
Exactly.
make people better off.
So yeah, guys, that was one of our longer episodes filled with a lot of information. I'm sure you guys learned a lot. And if you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, let us know what you thought. Again, our social medias are in the description below. Go ahead and connect with us. Messages, we love networking and communicating with new people. We hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.
See you next time.